Hello, my name is Bob Garvey. What you're going to see today is an example of the three-stage process in use. In particular, you will see the exploration stage. You will see myself, Bob, and Francis, my mentee, having a live discussion that's unscripted, but it will be edited to make the time limits. While you watch this video, make notes. What is it you are noticing? What skills can you see in use, and can you name those skills? What is it you think you need to practice in order to get good at the exploration phase of the three-stage process? So here we have Bob and Francis with their exploratory discussion aimed at establishing an agenda. Okay, so we've established and agreed our ground rules, and we've talked about the three-stage process.
Okay.
So are you ready to make a start?
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So here you are, sitting in this room.
Yep.
What would you like to talk about?
Okay, so I have made many career changes. The situation that I'm in at the moment, I very much enjoy my job, but I feel stuck. I feel stuck in terms of developing the role or changing my role or progressing or any of those things. And I just feel like I need to choose some things over, to think things through, and also to perhaps get some support and some guidance into either changing my role or developing the role that I've got. I also think I've got a lot of answers to why I'm where I am, and I think that's one of the reasons why I get stuck, because I've constantly got an answer, or I've constantly got a reason for why I'm not moving forward. But the issue remains, I'm still here. I'm still not going anywhere.
Okay. Help me to understand a little bit about your job. I don't really know what it is.
Okay, so my title is I'm a health and wellbeing advisor, and what I do is I work full time, 40 hours a week, looking after rail workers. Initially, that started off as they've got a gym in the building where I am based, so it was doing gym inductions for people, writing them programs in the gym if they wanted them, cleaning the gym kit, and a little bit of one-to-one personal training if people wanted it. Now that bored me, if I'm honest, after a while. And after being there for some time, I built some quite good relationships with people there, and realised that there was more well-being things that could be looked at, which is much more my area. General health and well-being, so looking at people who work shifts and taking note of what they're bringing in to eat, and then the effects that then has on their ability to sleep well, and then obviously what the company that I work for are interested in is their absence from work. So that is kind of where my work has gone now, and I'm fascinated in it. I just seem to have hit a wall, and it's not going anywhere, and I don't know where the next avenue is. Or
Okay. You use the word stuck at least 4 times in the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, right.
So what does that mean to you?
That I'm not going anywhere. I need something new to help me kind of get out of this rut that I'm in, and I don't really know how to start looking for that.
Okay. So you feel in a rut?
Yeah. Or stuck. I could say that again.
Stuck in a rut.
Yeah, stuck in a rut. There we go.
Yes. Okay. Okay. What's it like being stuck in a rut?
Sometimes it's okay if I want to be on the positive side of it, because I know where I am. I know what I have to do. My day-to-day is not particularly challenging because I know what it entails, but sometimes boring.
So what is it you would like to talk about? Is it talking about the stuckness or being stuck in a rut, or is it about developing things, another opportunity? What would be useful for you to discuss?
I think possibly a bit of both, but
Right.
maybe talking about the thing that I've said numerous times would be a good place to start.
Right. So you'd like to talk about being stuck?
I think so.
Okay. So where would you like to start with that?
That's a hard question. I suppose in the end I want to know how to be unstuck and how to move forwards. So perhaps a good place to start would be how I got stuck, maybe.
How you got stuck.
do you think?
So it's for you to make a choice about what you think about. So it's not for me
Okay.
to make that decision. So it's what you would like to talk about that's important.
Okay. Well, let's talk about
How you got to be stuck.
yeah, feeling stuck.
Okay. Okay, it's a bit different to
Right.
say feeling stuck and how you got to be stuck.
Okay.
So which one of those would you like to talk about?
Let's go with how. I said
Right.
that first.
How you got stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get stuck?
I think perhaps being good at what I do meant that I was given the freedom to do it, but in the absence of structure, guidance, framework. So I took it as far as I was able to, or am able to, and now there's nowhere to go, because I don't seem to have a support structure in place to help guide where it's going to go next. So I think perhaps how I got stuck was that I was ready to run with something, but I hadn't really thought through where it was going to go or where it could go. So I set off, and now I've gone up some, perhaps wasn't ready for that.
Right. Okay.
I think that actually that quite makes sense.
So what led you to do the things that you've done?
Okay. Similar to where I am now, actually, now you've said that, was boredom. So I was at work, and an 8-hour shift, I'd have nothing to do. So I found myself wandering around. This is a very busy environment where I work. The operations floor is where the whole of the network is controlled. So I'd spend my day wandering around and making conversation with people, and through doing that, you form relationships and start talking to people about perhaps their needs, their worries, their motivations for why they won't exercise, which is how I often started these conversations. So I thought, well, that's interesting. I'd quite like to see if I can help with that, see if I can support them wanting to improve their life. So from there, I then went away, and again, through relationships that I'd built, started asking questions about who I would need to get in contact with if I wanted to get signallers involved in moving, and from there developed some, first of all, some really simple things like hydration days. So instead of me doing nothing all day, I realised that sometimes these groups of workers on the operations floor, if they're in disruption, they can't even leave their station to go and get a drink. So I thought, what a brilliant way into well-being. Instead of them sitting there either with nothing to drink or swigging things that aren't particularly healthy, I'd go to them, and I'd take loads of infused water and just hydrate all the signallers. So it just started there.
The starting point then was your boredom.
Yeah.
So you made something up.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a fair comment?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I think the reason why I'm having these conversations with you now is because I can feel myself returning to that situation.
So you've made these things happen, and you've given some examples like Hydration Day. By going around talking to people, you started to identify different needs.
Yeah.
And you started to find ways of meeting those needs.
Yes.
But now you feel as if you're about to get bored again.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Maybe I shouldn't complain.
Well, okay. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, some people would love to get paid for 5 days' work and only do 2.
Okay. Okay. But
I like to be doing, and I like to be learning, and I like to be helping people with fitness.
Right. And you want to do more of it?
I do.
We've been talking for a while now.
Yep.
And I wondered if you could just sum up in a couple of sentences where you think you are now with it.
I think, interestingly, the questions that you've asked have answered a question for me that I've created a link for me that I've never seen before.
Mhm.
That boredom is what motivated me to change the job,
Mhm.
and boredom is what I'm feeling perhaps now, and motivating me to want to change the job again.
Right.
And I hadn't really
Okay.
used those words or seen that before.
So there's a pattern there.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Okay. Okay. That sounds like a new understanding to me.
I think it is, yeah.
So what you saw there were some key skills in use. You saw particularly some good listening. And how do you know there was good listening going on? What were the signs that Bob was listening to Frances? You had some examples of the use of some questions. So what questions seemed to help? You also had some examples of summary in use. Was there anything else you noticed? And what is it you need to work on?